course, and it's lovely to be here and meet everyone. My name is Charlie. I'm the founder of a business called OK Positive. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about my journey and about how I have built the business up, where I've kind of come from, and all the things that I've learned along the way. Our business is built around mental health and looking after people's mental health and giving them the tools and ideas to support themselves and their family and friends. So it's something that was built out of my own experience as an individual in the workplace. And I can answer any questions that anyone has about this. I'm more than happy to answer any questions. If people want to put it in the chat or want to ask afterwards, it won't be too long. As I mentioned, I've got QR codes here if people want to use the app for free and try it out and see how it goes. I'll share the details of that as well afterwards, so you can have access to it. But the topics today are going to be around starting up a business from idea to revenue generation. What that means is essentially from the very first time you start the business all the way through to selling it to customers, to building teams, my journey as a founder, and how I found it and how I've developed this business over the last 4.5 years, building a team around you and dealing with all the things that does, hiring, firing, having to look at your business and the amount of money that you have and how you can utilize that money in the best way to be as successful as you can. And then supporting yourself as you go through that startup journey, which is the most important thing I've found as being a founder of an organization, is that it's looking after yourself and understanding you, your family, the people around you, your team, so that you can support yourself and support them while you're doing what is a very stressful job. And then the challenges and things to look out for when starting a business or starting a job, all the things that I have learned along the way. So just to kick that all off, I'll tell you about my lived experience. I started working as a scaffolder in Australia for about 6 months, where I was lifting up heavy metal in the sand for basically 7 hours a day in 45-degree heat, which was pretty horrible at the best of times. But learned a lot of skills there in terms of teamwork and how to deal with different situations and quite dangerous situations, lifting heavy metal on scaffolding. I then moved back to the UK and started working in recruitment. This was where I experienced very, very difficult times, extreme situations of mental health. For me, I had a real problem with anxiety and a thing called OCD, which, if those of you don't know about it, it can be very dangerous in the sense you're always worried about things that can go wrong, how essentially you start obsessing over things that are going wrong. And for me, the workplace was very stressful. We had 300% of our staff over 18 months leaving the business. The manager was stressed, projecting stress onto other people. The working hours were very long and very difficult to maintain a life outside of work. And also the targets that they set us was so difficult to hit that it became a problem for a lot of people in the business. For me, I started experiencing panic attacks. I used to have 3 or 4 of these every day, where I used to hide away in the company toilets, playing video games on my phone to get myself out of it. And it was at that point I wanted to start this business and start helping people that were going through similar things, such as myself. And I started OK Positive and moved to another job. So I worked a job, full-time job, and this on the side in my free time. So working 2 jobs to try and get this business off the ground. So I was working in financial payments afterwards, which was a lot easier than recruitment. But at the same time, I had my eyes fixed on wanting to do this organization and build the business from the ground up. So what I did is I used that lived experience of my struggles, what I was going through, and wanted to create a platform of technology to be able to help other people who are going through similar things. This led from starting the business, paying £12 to Companies House in the UK to register it as a limited company. And after that, I started looking up all the different things that could help me start the business. One of the great books I read was Eric Rice's The Lean Startup, where it talks about building a product, measuring whether it works, and then learning from it and going again. And so I wanted to do that. So I put my life savings and all the money I had really into trying to get a form of this app out there to people, and built a founding team around me. So I didn't have any therapy or psychology experience. I didn't have healthcare experience. I'd only worked in recruitment and sales. So I found a clinical director, someone who do that, and build essentially the team around her. I then managed to build another person into the business, a chief operating officer who'd worked in banking and operations. And so started to build this out, develop the technology to go and try and sell it to customers. So we started doing that in around 2021, and started selling our app out to businesses, working with organizations to help the mental health of the people within them. That led us selling more and more to a point where we were making £6,500 a month. And at that point, you can get investment. So we went through a process of speaking to investors across the UK and in America to try and raise some money so that we could grow our team further and expand. And we raised £205,000 in pre-seed investment, bringing new investors into our business, where we could then build up more sales and start working across organizations across the UK and beyond. And what that's led from that point is we've moved into different areas. We're working with charities. We're working with large corporates. We're going to be working with within healthcare as well, using this platform in a way that we can help communities of people to understand what they need, how to help them. And then we're going to expand further across the globe, talking to the Middle East at the moment, but also we're looking at America as well. So trying to build a business from what was an idea all the way through something that affected me deeply personally, to then build through to start helping other people across the UK and beyond is what basically drives us. We want to be able to stop people from getting to a crisis point where they need to go to hospital, when they need to go to therapy. We want to be able to help people to help themselves, become more self-aware and do research across the UK, which will then lead us to raising more money and building the team out further. So essentially, we built it out of looking after people's mental health. And this is something that I've taken into my life in every day. The kind of terminology here, or the wording, is emotion, trigger, and action. But there's an example below. What am I feeling? I'm feeling stressed. So what do? I prioritize a to-do list because I'm stressed about work. I'm stressed about something that's going on. I can take action to help myself. This can happen with anything. If you are struggling with a family situation, think about, what are you feeling? Why are you feeling it? And what can you do about it? So I'll give you an example. I had a family bereavement at the start of this year. The start of last year. And I was grieving and I was struggling and I was in a very dark place pretty much every night for a few weeks. And I started thinking, like, what can I do about it? So I decided to call my cousins who'd lost their mum. And we had a great call, a great conversation. And I started feeling better. And I started not having dark moments every day. I started improving. And that's what we were trying to help people through technology to do in the business. So that's the whole point of what we're trying to achieve, which is to help people to understand themselves and find support or resources or help based on what they are feeling. So something to think about for everyone here, that your well-being matters when you're looking for jobs, when you're working within jobs, when you're starting a business, whatever it may be. Things to think about every day. It's like, do you take time out to support yourself? Do you actually look after yourself? Do you exercise enough? Do you drink enough water? Those are very obvious things, but also, do you think about what makes you happy? What makes you struggle? And are you putting things in place each day or each week to look at those and actually start taking action on those behaviors. Do you have access to support yourself? Do you have places that you can go? Do you have friends that you can talk to? Because all the way out through this business that I've been working in, I have struggled. I've felt brilliant, but it's the people around me that have helped me the most. It's having support to a network like this of great people that can help you. So it's important to surround yourself with people that are helping you, cheering you on, supporting you through the good and the bad times. Do you spend a lot of time working on individual problems or focusing on things, obsessing over things that cause longer days, more work? Is it something that you stress about? Is it something that you can control? These are things to think about, because we'll spend a lot of time worrying about things that we cannot control, and that doesn't help. Are you working overtime if you're in a role at the moment, or if you're starting a business? Are you working all hours of the day just to catch up? That's something that I have worked on as an individual throughout running this business, that actually it's not smart to work all day for 12 hours. It doesn't help. It doesn't make you any better at your job. You need to find smaller, focused areas of energy as you go along. And do you take time out, which is linked to that? Do you take time out to look after yourself, to spend time with your family, spend time with your friends? Because if you don't look after yourself, if you don't look after your wellness, you'll have to make time for your illness. And this is something that we're really, really passionate about, that it's important to look after yourself. So I know that's a lot of information, but I really wanted to open up to more questions around anything from starting a business, finding jobs, working in roles, anything around mental health. If there are any questions, I just want to open up so that everyone can ask away. And I'm happy to answer anything that you have.